Okay, so if you didn't already guess, today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a shorter video, so I'm going to be going through things pretty fast. Also, despite the intro, this video has nothing to do with the Fast and the Furious. I just thought the Fast and the Filmish was a funny pun for fast reviews. I don't know, anyway, let's just go. I know, I'm late to the party on this one. It's been a few weeks since we saw Martin Scorsese lose the Oscars, but I only recently got round to seeing Parasite, and it was incredible. I may be discussing some spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen the film yet, I'd recommend you click away now because it's a much more enjoyable experience if you don't know what's going to happen. So, Parasite is a 2019 movie, apparently, directed by Bong Joon-ho, about two families, the rich Park family and the poor Kim family. But when Ki-woo of the Kim family gets a job as an English tutor at the Park family residence, the rest of the Kim family begins to slowly sneak into the Park family's employment before everything then starts to go horribly wrong. It's really hard to give a clear description, a lot happens in the film. Despite having to need subtitles to understand what was being said, I still felt the emotion come through in the acting. It didn't hinder it at all. Speaking of, the cast is great. They all give such good performances and they all have memorable personalities. The MVPs were definitely Ki-woo and Mr. Kim. They were really entertaining to watch. The cinematography was phenomenal. There was such a wide range of shots and they were all utilized so well. Everything was framed in such a clever way, it told you more about the characters and the story. It was really enjoyable to watch. The settings are great as well. There aren't many different locations in the film, with the majority of time spent at the Park house or the Kim family's basement. It really helped contrast with more of the themes of poverty and class division. Speaking of, Bong manages to get a lot of subtext into the film. It explores themes of morality, the class divide, the effects of capitalism, human power, climate change. The list goes on. It's crazy. No wonder it's such a thought-provoking film. The film is also really well paced, with the first hour focusing on the Kim family stealing the jobs at the Park family's house. And then when it hits the 1 hour point, everything starts to fall apart and the film gets really uncomfortable. I was on the edge of my seat for all of the second act, especially all the scenes in the basement with the maid and her husband. Also, that flashback to Da Song's birthday was honestly one of the most terrifying shots I've ever seen in a film. That still creeps me out to this moment. Oh. And of course, the third act, which I felt sick. The pie scene was really gory and violent and intense. It was as if I knew it was leading up to that moment, but it still caught me off guard. I like how the climax of the film was just straight up murder, yet Mr. Park's still not giving a shit about the poor people, despite the fact that, well, you know, they're literally being murdered in his garden. Joke's on him, I guess. It's also ironic that both the rich and the poor are united by one thing in that scene, the knife. I like the fact that no matter whether you're rich or poor, violence at the hand of man's conflict is inevitable. That's pretty deep. If I had to have one little criticism with the film, well, which I do, is that I felt like the ending dragged on a little bit. There were 6 different points where I felt like it was going to end, but then it just carried on. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad it did, especially the final one where it's the time jump to the Kim family finally living a happy, peaceful life, and it just turned out to be in Ki-woo's imagination. That got me, that was really good. But generally, I don't like it when films set you up for an ending and they just go nope and carry on. Other than that, I really can't criticize anything else about this movie. It's a masterpiece. So, Parasite is a surreal, meaningful, surprisingly funny, and powerful film. It's already topped my favorite films of 2020 list without a doubt. It's such a beautifully crafted piece of cinema that I'm sure it will stay with anyone who's watched it for a long time. So without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to give Parasite a solid A star. Go watch it if you haven't. Even if you're not sure if you'll like it, you will, trust me. So that was my very brief thoughts on Parasite. There's a lot I didn't get to mention, because there's so much you could talk about in this film. I could do a whole video just on the themes, the cinematography, the score, which I didn't even mention, which didn't even come in at many parts. It only came in when it was absolutely necessary. It wasn't overplayed, but it wasn't underutilized. It was pretty good. Just throw that on the side. I mean, it still keeps it an A star. Where do you go when you've reached the top? So this has been a Fast and the Filmish review. I feel like that's too long, but I'm gonna keep it because Vin Diesel. Speaking of which, I will not be reviewing Bloodshot. I'm not gonna go see that crap. Anyway, I've been Filmish. I'll see you all in the next video. Wait, what the fuck?